Today I have something extremely special for you guys.
Prepare yourself, dancing.
If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications, that way you never miss a video. Today I want to give a huge shout out to my boy The Wanderer, who recently started his YouTube career only a few months ago, and he has amassed a decent following. And today I want to go ahead and give him the floor and have him bring you guys something special. He is going to be telling you about his story, which is extremely Dragon Ball-esque, but it's a lot more.
The Wanderer universe, aka the Tale of Travelers universe, is a Dragon Ball expanding universe project surrounding the concept of expanding the universe out more and building out the lore of already existing concepts and exploring new paths and new races and stories for not just the 7th universe but also beyond. Our goal is to move away from the already well-established settings and tropes of Dragon Ball proper, whether that be Earth or Namek, and the god hierarchy, along with established races like the humans, Saiyans, and Namekians. To explore on brand new concepts, build out the more mysterious parts of Dragon Ball that either get completely forgotten about, or things that don't get explained all too well. Like, for example, how things like magic works, along with giving different and unique forms of magic not yet explored in Dragon Ball, as well as giving it some hard limitations. And things like how Ki works and how it differs from life and soul energy, and new unique ways to use Ki that isn't just another energy blast, and etc. and etc. The person at the center of this concept, the one whom is our guide throughout its expansion, being, of course, the Wanderer. An enigmatic, legendary explorer in the 7th universe that's always in the shadows of things, being a silent witness, an observer to legendary events, being a key cataloger for said events. Along with that, he's also the subject to many legends and folktales on planets far and wide, since he himself has been to planets far and wide. It wouldn't be a stretch of the imagination to assume that there isn't a single planet in the 7th universe that hasn't been visited by him and explored and cataloged at one point or another. He covers a large range of expertise when it comes to exploration. He's obviously a well-seasoned explorer, an archaeologist, a professional snoop, and of course an adventurer, going places where people are not wanted at all for the singular goal to always see what's beyond that next horizon. He's the guide, but his companions are our best vehicle to seeing his world, to see every adventure, every threat or global to galactic catastrophes. One of the most prevalent being Aloe, the main, quote-unquote, companion to the Wanderer. We follow his journey and see through his eyes at the expanded universe, through Wanderer's universe, along with experiencing his own struggles and his own stories alongside Wanderer. He also represents the known, the things we already have a grasp on, so we have something to connect us back to the roots of proper Dragon Ball. Aloe is a creation of Cade, aka Six Pocket Studios. Him, along with me and 3 other individuals, are sort of the heads of this project, each with our own characters and tasked with our own part of the universe to expand and explore on. But they all fall under the same banner and are prone to team-ups to deal with singular threats that neither can handle alone. Think of them like an intergalactic Z fighters, for example. They all have their own stories that mix and mingle with one another to create a much larger whole, to really fill in as many blanks as possible, to create a much richer lore and a much richer universe. The other 3 people involved in this pie of a project, the first one being is Linnaeus. He was one of the 3rd members to join the project, as well as being the 3rd founding member of the project, along with me and Cade. His characters being Mazara, Shire, and Sphinx, each one covering a particular and different aspect of the universe. Linnaeus' wheelhouse, for example, is magic. It's through his stories that we learn more about magic and how it works. All his stories and characters center around the same concept, about being practitioners in magic, with other varying concepts, but that is a very underlining theme about his stories. It also gives light to new species that utilize magic in specific and unique ways, also giving us some connective glue to the other members and what their wheelhouses specialize in. Along with this, Mazara is Wanderer's second mainline companion right after Aloe in the series, along with Shire, Sviss, of course. Moving on, the 4th and 5th members are Rogue Music and Blackheart. If you've seen my videos before, then you recognize that first name. Rogue is one of the main editors of my videos. But Rogue and Blackheart's contribution are Rogu and Sabi. Rogu and Sabi are two of a pair of planet-hopping adventurers, much like Wanderer himself. And together they explore the underbelly of the DB universe, expanding on things like the races, giving us more info on existing races as well as giving us new ones, expanding on things like culture, unique methods of key use, expanding on things like souls and life energy. The main character, Sabi, exploring the concept of how key functions and operates. As I said earlier, each member has their own story to tell in the greater whole, with our own connections to one another for things like crossovers and one-shots. To put in simplistic terms, Aloe is Iron Man, our vehicle throughout the world. Mazara is Thor, giving us mystical and mythic of parts of the universe. Rogu and Sabi are the Captain America and Hulk, giving us hard facts, realism, science. And the Wanderer is the Nick Fury to show up at the end, to glue them all together, and to give them a connection to one another, having a foot in all their worlds. But to focus on the main man himself, on Wanderer, his arcs and stories will center around his humanity, and how far he's willing to stretch that in his morality in the sake of his never-ending exploration of the universe, along with the hidden consequences of his long adventure and the mistakes of his long past. Because like I said earlier, he does like to do things from the shadows, to be the silent observer, to always stay in the background just to, explore. He doesn't like interfering with the affairs of the planets and places he visits. He leads his own life, a life of neutrality. But every now and then, if the world he's trying to explore comes under attack, and threatens the sanctity of his exploration, his peaceful exploration, and if he absolutely needs to interfere for the greater good, he will do it as he sees fit, regardless of the consequences, just as long as good is done, and in his own way. A real ends justify the means type of person, which means he has a very gray sense of morality. So nearly every recurring villain in his rogues gallery is a byproduct of his less than heroic sense of morality. Whether it's Neon, for example, Wanderer's first ever companion that opened his heart to traveling with others, but twisted his naivete towards potential traveling companions to use him for her own twisted, thrill-seeking nature. Or Parasite, an immortal elder of pure avarice, the former ruler of an old race of immortal key vampires, whose ravenous hunger for power drew him to a legend of the Wanderer, like a moth to a flame. Or Soulstar, or The Butcher, or Agent Orange, or even... maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. I haven't even done in-depths on those four yet. But you can catch up on the ones I have done on Neon and Parasite on my own channel, The Wanderer, on a series I like to call In-Depth, where I go into great detail on specific characters in the Wanderer universe. But rest be assured, I'll be getting to those four oh so very soon. This project will continue on this coming year, so stay tuned. But to wrap things up in a nice little bow, the Wanderer series is a continuous set of singular adventures, but with an overarching story that helps to weaving them all together, with the occasional multi-part arc with one recurring centralized villain that's usually built up towards, out of the 6 I mentioned earlier, of course, with a few other low-level characters making up what is known as the Wanderer's Rogues Gallery, with a few other scattered storylines or occasional crossovers or multi-part team-up arcs, with the Tale of Travelers being the umbrella for the 3 separate running series, The Wanderer, Alina's story, and Rogues and Blackheart stories. Like how Marvel is the brand for Iron Man and Captain America stories. But for the most part, that's it. I want to thank Blackscape for inviting me on to talk about my series and the passion I have for the series. Like I said a few minutes ago, this will be continuing on to later year, and possibly year after. It'll just depend on how fast we can get this up and off the ground. But all the support that you can give will be vastly appreciated. And yeah, well, thank you for having me on, Blackscape, and I'll give the mic back to you.
There you have it, guys. Thank you, Wanderer, for being on the channel, for supporting the Black Squad, for supporting me and my family. Thank you so much for everything, guys. And of course, if you have an original story, you have something that you want to spread out there in the universe and give us all a glimpse of it in the Black Squad, make sure you hit me up on Twitter through DMs. And if it's spicy enough, I'll go ahead and give it a shout out. This is going to be Blackscape signing off. Take care, guys.
Subscribe for more content. Or perish.